Good morning. It's Tuesday, January 20th. Here's what we're working on. Mayor Andrea Horwath is set to update the City of Hamilton's 2026 budget process.
Cold weather alerts are still in effect across much of southern Ontario.
You're off. Faber. Wristing one. They score!
And there was a wild end to the Leafs' win streak at home. Thank you for joining us on this bitterly cold morning. Come on in. It's warm in here.
It is, yes. Yes, we've turned up the heat a little bit in here.
Yes.
And my shoulders aren't quite as high as they were earlier. So
I have noticed that.
Yes, thankfully. Yeah, it is dangerously cold this morning, and we have a cold weather alert that's not only going to be in effect right now, but it's going to be in effect throughout the day today and overnight tonight before it starts to get a little bit milder for the day tomorrow. But yeah, it's dangerously cold this morning. Minus 16 with a wind chill right now of minus 27 degrees. Oh yeah, that's the criteria for cold weather alerts. Really cold, and it's only going to climb. Today's high is forecast to be minus 13 with a wind chill of minus 26. That's how cold it's going to be today. We're going to have some sunshine, so it'll be a nice, bright, sunny day. We'll get some flurries on and off, but it's going to be fairly windy as well. And of course, the wind is that factor in the strong wind chill values that we will have today and tonight. Tonight is going to be even colder tonight and to start the day tomorrow. So we'll talk all about that coming up. And yes, tomorrow we do have a little bit of snow for tomorrow, but we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Traffic this morning, we have no problems at the moment. Things are fine. Generally, roads can be slippery. I had some slippery roads coming in this morning with that blowing snow situation that we had throughout the overnight and yesterday. But 403 Waterdown Road, doing fine. Check some MTO traffic cameras and see if we can see anything, but there's nothing here at the Red Hill Creek, Toronto bound away from us. Top of the Burlington Skyway, same thing. Toronto bound away from us here at Bronte Road as well, so nothing really happening so far today. But of course, we will look at all the details, weather and traffic in a few minutes. Right now, the news.
All right, thank you, Brian. We'll start with the cold and the extreme cold temperatures that prompted the City of Hamilton to issue a cold weather alert. Hamilton's medical officer of health issues the alert after temperatures dropped to minus 15 or minus 20 with the wind chill. Health officials warn exposed skin can freeze within minutes, leading to frostbite, while prolonged exposure can cause hypothermia when the body's core temperature falls to dangerous levels. For Hamilton's unhoused residents in need of warmth, several shelter spaces were preparing for the extreme conditions.
They're able to stay warm during that time, get a meal, and meet with case management to talk about exactly what they're looking for in terms of service.
Cold weather alert will remain in effect until a cancellation notice is issued.
In that cold, much of Niagara is digging out after being hit by a line of intense snow. Environment Canada tracked a band that developed off Lake Erie. Poor visibility and bitter wind chills created dangerous conditions on Niagara roads and side streets, prompting the cancellation of school buses. Environment Canada says there's the potential for another round of snow moving into the region.
The next system that we're looking at is a larger scale system, not relying on very localized snow squalls, but a large widespread area of snowfall.
OPP responded to several collisions throughout the day and is reminding drivers to slow down and drive according to weather and road conditions. Mayor Andrea Horwath is set to update the City of Hamilton's 2026 budget process later today. Simone Gavros joins us from outside City Hall with more on what to expect.
Well, Annette, right now, the staff proposed budget is sitting at 5.5%. But of course, that number can fluctuate depending on how talks go over the next coming weeks. And of course, from this update that we're supposed to get from Mayor Andrea Horwath later this afternoon. But those talks have been ongoing, and they're going to be going on right up until the beginning of February. And those delegations also took place with the public yesterday. Here's more from Greg Dunnett with the Hamilton Chamber of Commerce on his thoughts.
Hamilton needs a 2026 budget that addresses today's core pressures while also invest strategically in decaying infrastructure to support a growing and aging population. Taken together, this leaves Hamilton businesses heading into 2026 in a fragile position. After another turbulent year, predictability and affordability in municipal costs are not just important, they are essential.
The proposed tax budget has a net levy of $1.33 billion, which is an increase of $86.5 million. This translates to the residential tax increase of 5.5%, or $293 for an average property assessed at around $387,000. That's roughly on par with where the tax hikes have been year over year. Last year's was at 5.6%, and the year before that was at 5.8%. The proposed tax hike is above the mayor's directive given last fall to target a minimum tax increase of 4.25%. City staff say departments reviewed their budgets to find, quote, cost-saving opportunities and were able to save around $52.9 million. The city has already approved the water budget for this year, which rose to 7.32%, or about $77 annually per household. Now, Mayor Andrea Horvath is expected to provide an update on the 2026 budget around 2 p.m. here at City Hall. For now, things back over to you, Rick.
Thanks, Simone. 2 men have been arrested after thieves emptied a high-end car dealership in Oakville. In a story first reported here on Morning Live, 8 vehicles were stolen from Lockwood Leasing on January 11th. The keys were taken from the dealership's lockbox. 5 of the vehicles, a BMW, a Mercedes, 2 Porsches, and a Ferrari, have been recovered. Halton police are looking for several other suspects and the other vehicles. 2 men in their 20s, one from Mississauga, the other from BC, have been charged with break and enter and disguise with intent. They were released on bail but face additional charges in Peel Region.
Niagara Falls is hosting hundreds of people evacuated from Saskatchewan First Nation after a water crisis in the Northern Ontario community. Evacuees flew into Hamilton before completing the roughly 1,400-kilometer journey from their home, eventually to Niagara Falls, the last leg of it by bus. Hotels in Niagara Falls are now housing about 858 people from Saskatchewan First Nation. The city's enlisted support from Indigenous organizations, including the Fort Erie Native Friendship Center, to provide culturally appropriate meals, traditional medicine, and drum circles.
Right now they deal with like a cultural shock as they come down here. Like, they're right in the middle of Niagara Falls and Clifton Hill, and there's not a lot of green space, stuff that they're used to.
Saskatchewan First Nation leaders declared a state of emergency January 4th after infrastructure damage caused sewage to back up into homes, and a local clinic contaminated the community's freshwater system. There's no estimate for when evacuees will be able to return home. Prime Minister Mark Carney is set to speak at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland today. He will join the global power elite as he drums up investment in Canada from both corporations and from other countries. French President Emmanuel Macron and the President of the European Union, Ursula von der Leyen, are also expected to speak at the forum today. Carney is scheduled to make another address at the forum tomorrow before coming back to Canada. U.S. President Donald Trump is set to be at the forum tomorrow. Now, in Davos, the U.S. Treasury Secretary is urging U.S. trading partners to, quote, take a deep breath and let tensions driven by Donald Trump's new tariff threats over Greenland play out. Last night, Trump himself said he doesn't think Greenland or Denmark are going to, quote, push back too much.
We have to have it. They have to have this done. They can protect it. Denmark, they're wonderful people. And I know the leaders are very good people, but they don't even go there. And, because the boat went there 500 years ago and then left, that doesn't give you title to property.
Trump has announced a 10% import tax starting in February on goods from 8 European nations that have rallied around Denmark because of his stepped-up calls for the United States to take over the semi-autonomous territory of Greenland. Trump insists the United States needs Greenland for security reasons against possible threats from China and Russia. A block of the world's second official postage stamp is going for auction in May, and it's expected to bring in millions of dollars. The Great Britain 2-pence blue stamp of Queen Victoria was issued in 1840. The mint block of 48 stamps was found in 1945 in a desk in a palace in Scotland. It's been called the greatest stamp discovery in modern post-Second World War history. It's known as the Buccleuch block. The auction house expects a selling price of between $5 and $7.5 million. The auction will be held on May 28th in conjunction with the Boston World Expo.
Sportsline, after going 2-1 on their 4-game Western road trip, the Maple Leafs returned home to host Minnesota, but it was the visitors who dominated.
You're off. Faber, wristing one, they score! As the puck has eyes, we'll see if it was tipped. It's Faber from long range on the power play.
Marcus Foligno scored his first NHL hat-trick, and Vladimir Tarasenko scored twice as Minnesota mauled the Maple Leafs 6-3. The Wild jumped out to a 2-0 lead in the first period and pretty much put the game away with 3 more goals in the second. Austin Matthews had a goal and an assist to move past the late Boreas Salming and into sole possession of 4th place on Toronto's all-time points list, behind only Matt Sundin, Daryl Sittler, and Dave Keon. The loss also stopped the Leafs' 7-game winning streak at home. We don't often see it, but when it happens, it grabs everyone's attention. For the first time since 2020, 2 goalies dropped the gloves last night.
And here comes Bobrovsky all the way down the ice. Look out!
Oh, here we go!
Drops the mitts. Bobrovsky goes after Nedeljkovic.
Oh, yeah!
Sergei Bobrovsky came 200 feet to throw punches with Alex Nedeljkovic.
2 netminders squared off with neither really landing any serious blows. Both goalies got 5 minutes for fighting and 2 minutes for leaving the crease, penalties that were served by their teammates. San Jose ended up beating Florida 4-1.
What was the cause of that?
They were just angry at each other.
Oh, okay.
Leyla Fernandez lost her opening round match at the Australian Open, falling 6-2, 7-6 to Indonesia's Janice Chen. Burlington's Victoria Mboko, by the way, teamed up with American Eva Jovic to win their first-round doubles match 7-5, 6-3. Mboko, the only Canadian woman to win her first-round singles match, will face American Katie McNally in round 2 later on today. The NFL coaching carousel continues to spin at a frenetic pace. The Bills have fired head coach Sean McDermott after 9 seasons on the sidelines and 2 days after Buffalo was eliminated from the playoffs in overtime at Denver. The Bills went 12-5 this season and 98-50 overall under McDermott. Elsewhere around the league, the Dolphins have hired Green Bay defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley as their new head coach. Tennessee set to name 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Saleh their next head coach.
Get to the 8. He's going to take off and run. Mendoza weaves his way first and go diving toward the end zone. Touchdown!
Heisman Trophy winner Fernando Mendoza scored an amazing 12-yard touchdown as the Indiana Hoosiers capped off an undefeated season by beating the Miami Hurricanes 27-21 in college football's national championship. It's Indiana's first ever natty. The Hoosiers also joined the 1894 Yale team as the only ones in major college football history to finish 16-0. Hamilton Tiger Cats have re-signed offensive lineman Jacob Zott as well as undrafted free agent receiver Trajan Bridges. And the Toronto Rock have acquired goalie Stephen Orleman from Buffalo for a 3rd-round draft pick this year.
6:13, okay, 20th morning of January, and it is so cold, and we'll talk about that in a second. So let's just have a quick look at traffic because there's nothing happening. 403 Waterdown Road, our camera looks good at the moment, nothing to see there. St. Catharines, let's go into some MTOs. QEW Niagara Street looks good, same with the Red Hill Creek, still fine. Fairview, all the way through east of Royal Windsor, 427 Gardner QEW combination, nothing going on the roads this morning. Okay. As you step out the door, it's going to slap you in the face. -16 is the temperature right now. The winds, thankfully, have died off a little bit. They're still southwest at 27. That makes it feel like -27 this morning. The skies are fairly clear. What we're looking at for school today, by the way, we're looking at a bit of sun, bit of cloud cover, some flurries on and off, but the high is only going to hit -13. We should be around -2, so that's how cold it will be. That's just the temperature. The wind chill this afternoon is going to be around -26 degrees. So let's look at the snow squalls. They've waggled a little bit. They were really hitting the Niagara Peninsula yesterday. Now they're going into western New York, and of course coming off of Lake Huron, off of Georgian Bay as well across the Bruce Peninsula. What we have trough of low pressure leaving, but we're keeping our eye on that next low pressure system that's going to move its way through tomorrow. So we're going to get some more snow tomorrow. Temperature tomorrow, thankfully, will be a little bit milder, but it's going to be bitterly cold today and into tonight as well. So these are the temperatures: -8 to -10 Niagara, -13, -10, 2 to 4 centimeters. That's for Simcoe, Niagara Falls, and St. Catharines. Just a little bit more snow for there today. Tonight, temperatures falling back, -11, 12 for Niagara, -17 degrees for the rest of us. Wind chills, -27 overnight. So a warning for the cold is going to stay in effect for us tonight. Niagara Peninsula could get more snow, like St. Catharines could get 5 to 10 centimeters overnight tonight. But tomorrow, they're generally going to get 5 centimeters. So temperatures tomorrow will be a fair bit milder, 0 to -1 to -2. So that's palatable after what we have to put up with today and tonight. So stepping out the door, 20th morning of January. Temperature is -16. Wind chill right now, -27. The skies are mainly clear. It's not quite as windy now as it was last hour. At least the winds have died off a bit. We will check the long-range forecast coming up in a few minutes. Annette, Rick.
Guess who's back?
Yeah.
Emily is finally back. She's going to join us with a preview of what's to come in Chit Chat. And in business news, a digital trading platform could soon be in place at the New York Stock Exchange. So glad to have Emily back, and you can see us.
A little bit. You're still a little hazy, but we're good. We're good. We're good. Okay, so Take That. Do you guys remember that boy band?
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
He was huge. One of the most iconic boy bands.
Yep.
Yeah, in the UK. It's showcasing let's just say, not a great history in a new 3-part documentary coming to Netflix. Late night legend David Letterman is returning to Canada. I think the last time he was here was the year I was born.
It was the 70s.
70s, yeah.
Yep, it's been a hot minute. Later on this morning, the Sundance Film Festival prepares to bid farewell to Park City. We'll have all those details.
Okay.
Thanks, Emily.
Details on business news right now. In overseas trading, the Canadian dollar is up just slightly to 72.93 cents U.S. Gold has gained another $139 an ounce, so it's past $4,700. Oil is up 3 cents to $59.39 U.S. a barrel. Checking midday markets in Europe, everything is down by almost triple digits.
Asian markets are down across the board, with Tokyo dropping more than 500 points on the day. American markets will reopen today after yesterday's closure due to Martin Luther King Day. Yesterday, the TSX closed up 50 points.
The New York Stock Exchange is developing a new digital platform that will allow investors to trade digital tokens 24 hours a day. It would operate separately from the exchange itself and offer instant settlement, removing the limits of traditional stock market trading hours. The system would use blockchain technology, the same behind cryptocurrencies, to create digital tokens that represent assets like stocks, bonds, or real estate. Tokens could be traded like cryptocurrency by investors almost anywhere in the world at any time of the day.
Annual inflation rate in Canada rose to 2.4% in December. Statistics Canada says the figure was pushed higher because of the end of Ottawa's tax holiday a year earlier. Here in Ontario, the December inflation rate was 2.1%, up from 1.9% the previous month. Inflation figures will be the Bank of Canada's last look at price data before it makes its first interest rate decision of the year next week. The central bank's key policy rate is currently at 2.25%.
Thousands of workers across the federal public service have received notices that their jobs may be cut. The Public Service Alliance of Canada says 1,775 workforce adjustment notices were issued to its members last week. The union says 2,273 members have received notices since the federal budget was released in November. The union says those members work in several departments and agencies, including Public Services and Procurement Canada, Shared Services Canada, StatsCan, and the Treasury Board Secretariat. The union is demanding that the government explain why experienced public servants are facing waves of workforce reduction as outsourcing spending reaches record highs.
Time for a quick break. Brian is going to return with your traffic update and 7-day weather forecast. Stay with us.
Good morning, 624. Quick traffic check because there's really nothing going on. QEW, Ontario, St. Catharines. Well, we're getting a bit of volume here. Top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge, slowing down toward North Shore. Nothing at Bronte. Not too bad here at Lorne Park. Flip ahead to the 403 at Mississauga. Well, west of Mississauga Road. No problems on the roads right now. Just a bit of volume. The problem this morning is the cold, and we have a cold weather alert issued right now. A lot of them around southern Ontario. Minus 16 in Hamilton. Wind chill of minus 27 is how cold it is this morning. Minus 14 for Mississauga, minus 12 Grimsby and Toronto. Should we talk seasonals? Okay, minus 2 for the daytime high, minus 10 for the overnight low. Shows you how cold it is, sun times and records for today. And for school today, we're looking at minus 14 today, minus for the first bell, minus 13 for after school. Wind chills of minus 27, so that's how cold it'll be. At least we'll get a bit of sunshine. Talking about how cold it is, this picture was just sent to me. Blake and his brother Graham camping at Killbear Provincial Park last night. Winter camping. You know how cold it is this morning. Can you imagine? Well done. All right. If you can do it, I'll say minus 13 today. Wind chill of minus 26 later on. Minus 17 overnight. Wind chill of minus 27. So the cold weather alert will stay in effect. Minus 2 tomorrow. It'll mild up a bit, but we'll get 5 centimeters of snow during the day tomorrow. Then it gets colder again. Minus 5 Thursday, minus 8 Friday, and then minus 13 and 11. Bit of sunshine, but bitterly cold on the weekend as well. That's your forecast. Annette, Rick.
Okay, this is going to be cool. A new study may be the first to ever describe tool use by a cow.
Austrian researchers studied a Swiss brown cow named Veronica. This after her owner had observed her over the last decade picking up sticks with her mouth. She would maneuver the ends to reach areas of her body that she couldn't otherwise reach. After seeing a video of her scratching herself with a stick, a team of animal behavior experts studied her using a brush. They found that she used it as a multi-purpose tool. She would use the side with bristles to rub at the thick skin of her upper body, and she would use the blunt handle for areas of her lower body where her skin was more delicate, such as her udder.
That is a smart cow.
Wow. I always have that place in the back.
Hello, smart cow.
I always have that place in my back I can never scratch.
Yes.
Need one of those sticks.
You got to get a stick in your mouth.
I need Veronica is what I need. Stay with us. More to come after the break here on Morning Live. Let's get Veronica to rub my back.